What is it like to go to Chamonix during UTMB week to take part in the UTMB Queen Distance?
This is insane!
176k with 10,000 meters of elevation gain, but especially what does it mean to do your first DNA at the most important race of your life? Well, let me share with you the story of how my UTMB week 2025 went and how I failed spectacularly at achieving my goal and had to quit. It's taken me a while to sit down and record this video because it was a pretty traumatic experience, to be honest. Going from the highest of highs to one of the lowest of lows.
I cannot believe this is happening.
Was something that I'd never experienced. I'd never had to DNF in my life in any race that I've ever done. But looking back on it, I believe it was a very formative experience and I learned really a lot. Let's go, guys. Chamonix, the final week of August, means only one thing: UTMB. UTMB week is a spectacular series of races, events, and a huge get-together for the trail running community from all over the world. I've been building up to this race for months through a lot of training, stepping stone races, and it had always been my main objective for the year. The journey starts Friday before the race. I prepared all the gear here in Turin, packed up the van and left to go to Courmayeur. I would sleep in Courmayeur and do my last training session in Ferret Saturday morning.
Hey guys, we are out here in beautiful mountains near Courmayeur. It's some of the most beautiful in the world in my opinion. 1 week out from UTMB. Today's going to be the last, let's call it long run. It'll be anywhere between 10, 12, 20 kilometers. I don't know, I'll see how my body feels. The main objective is just to break in the new Houches. So just get some kilometers in them before race day. Taper was just a nightmare, absolute nightmare. One problem after the other, and with such a big race on the horizon, you really start to question everything, like what should I do, what shouldn't I do. It's beautiful to be out here back in the mountains. We're going to do a super easy session, super simple, and what I'm going to do is ride my bike 5k's up the valley, lock my bike, and then start running up to the Houches. Then I'll see, maybe if I want to climb Gran Col Ferret, I will do it, but main objective is just to get to the Houches. Okay guys, let's go.
But to my amazement, after exactly 1 kilometer, I felt my left calf pull quite severe pain. It wasn't super strong, but it was enough to make me stop running immediately. I thought it was a muscle spasm, so I just thought, okay, I'll just rest, do compression socks, and I'll be fine. Went back to my van, and the next day, I drove to France. I got to Chamonix on Sunday, and the town was already pretty packed.
Here we are guys, center of Chamonix. The arch is up and they've just finished putting on the carpet here. It's getting real.
UTMB and UTMB week are a really big event. I would call it a festival of trail running. It is a full week of races. So throughout the week, many competitions take place like MCC, TDS, ETC, OCC, CCC, and UTMB. On Monday, I woke up pretty early, headed to the center of the city to see the arch, walked around and tried to soak everything in. On top of this, the first thing that happens Monday is the Ultra Trail Village opens. And the Ultra Trail Village is basically a place where all trail running brands and outdoor brands are. I was just lost myself in this maze of expos and seeing new products and chatting with people at the stands, as well as getting the last things that I needed for the race. In particular, a t-shirt from Wild Tea. Monday was the day for MCC to take place. There was already a lot of people cheering them on when they got into the city. You could really feel that the week had started. Tuesday and Wednesday were a little bit of mix of work for me. I started on Tuesday going to a run from Mount Coast. We're doing a test run for the T1 and I went there to get some footage and then have an amazing breakfast. After that, I headed to the Trail Village. I went to say hi to friends at Camelback and Rudy Project. Also, I complimented Rudy Project as they had become World Series partner with UTMB, which is a massive achievement in my opinion, and I'm super stoked to be collaborating with them as a brand. After that, the huge Hoka stand, which was right in front of the entrance. The stand was really geared to the launch of the Mafate 5, a really great shoe that I used in training. Perfect for long distances, but also stable. They had a test area and definitely one of the highlights of the village. Next we went to Dacia, and then basically anywhere you turned, you could see new products being launched or sneak peeks of stuff. Depending on what hour you got to the village, there could be completely different things happening. Like for instance, I got there early in the morning and there was a yoga class happening, and then I came back 2 hours later and there was a panel, so you could even just sit down and listen to interesting things, people who've done documentaries or massive races, or even some environmental actions that UTMB is taking to make this whole week and the races as sustainable as possible. At this point, I was not running anymore because of the calf. I was just trying to let it heal as much as possible. What I was doing though was riding my bike 1 hour or a little bit with even some intensity just to try and not really do nothing all weekend. Wednesday was another morning with Mount Coast filming the H1 test run and getting some content of the H1. And the rest of the day, especially the morning, progressed the same way. So I was there to work as media. So filming content about shoes, gear, races, and finishing up around midday. The calf honestly felt healed. I'd gotten dry needling done on Sunday, one physio appointment on Monday, and one physio appointment on Wednesday morning. So I thought, okay, I've done a good job healing the calf. Felt it 100%, and I was thinking I will do one run Wednesday afternoon, which is exactly what I did. After finishing up work, I went back to the van, got dressed, and just did a short run up halfway to La Flégère and back down, trying to push the pace up to 4 15-minute Ks on the way down. And the calf felt amazing. It felt completely healed, and I was like, okay, awesome. I realized that I really needed to rest on Thursday.
Thursday morning and I'm about to go pick up my bib for UTMB. The weather's not looking good at all. Actually, it's looking really bad. This morning it rained like crazy. So probably the guys doing OCC this morning are not going to have like a super good start. And the forecast is for tomorrow evening. It's going to be like rainy and probably snow from 2,400 meters up. So probably we're going to do Col De and Col De la Seigne with some snow. But honestly, I'm feeling amazing. It's been an amazing few days here at the village. So yeah, let's go pick up the bib.
I was basically one of the first there. 10 minutes, I got my bib, got my bag.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Okay guys, so we just got our bib, everything's sorted out. We also got our mandatory equipment checked because basically tomorrow they're predicting rain and especially maybe some snow at around 2,400 meters. So they activated the cold weather kit, which basically means just a third warm layer, and I double checked that it was okay, plus protective eyewear. So it's I've just basically showed them my photochromatic sunglasses and checked that they were okay. This is sorted. Amazing service, like I was in and out super fast. Now it's just a matter of resting and preparing all the stuff for tomorrow. So now it's 10 a.m. Thursday. Start is tomorrow at 45 minutes past 5 from Chamonix city center. It's been days that I've been saying this, but I just cannot wait to start. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, I just can't wait to start and to attempt to do my first run around Mont Blanc. Just really excited. Now I think I'm gonna check out the backstage of the live coverage of UTMB at the Congress Center.
I had the opportunity to go and check out the live broadcast system that UTMB puts on for all the races. Located in the headquarters for the week that they have in a hotel in Chamonix. I went there and they gave us a detailed explanation and a tour of where they do the broadcast from. And guys, it was pretty mind-blowing, to be honest. It's a huge production, 6 different commentating booths with different languages. And then there is an area full of screens with people who are doing the broadcast. They are changing the angles, doing the graphics like real time. And it was really cool to see. hearing the roar of the people when the athletes came in, when Womsey came in, when Christian came in. It was absolutely insane. I don't think there is another race like this in the world, and it was super, super cool to be there and witness Womsey's victory. After having finished my work commitments, I headed back to the van and I was in bed super early, ready for the next day. Friday was race day, and I had a plan. I was going to sleep as much as possible and wake up as late as possible. Let me explain to you guys why. UTMB is a 176 kilometer race with 10,000 meters of elevation gain. It goes around Mont Blanc, going up and over high mountain passes, traverses 3 nations, France, Italy, and Switzerland. And it is a race with long continuous climbs and long continuous descents. So as you can see, it is a very tough course. It's a very long race with a lot of climbing and especially a lot of really continuous long climbs, which can really take a lot of time to do. So the one thing that I realized that I had to do was to sleep as much as possible, to bank as much sleep as I could in order to feel as little fatigue from that during the race. On Friday, I slept until 2 p.m.
Okay guys, it is officially 3 hours to the start of the UTMB 2025, and here I got my pack. It's got everything in it. Now I'm going to double check everything because they activated the cold weather kit. It might be actually snowing.
The pack that I was going to use was a Camelback Apex Pro. I've used this in all my ultra races and it's absolutely perfect for me. Shades, I was going to use Rudy Project Astral X Sphere in collaboration with Wild Tea, which are of course photochromic and they're perfect for the cold weather kit.
Watch, I was going to use the Coros Apex 2 Pro. Plenty of battery life for an ultra and a bigger screen for navigation.
On top of this, I was going to prepare nutrition. Some of it I was going to leave in the drop bag and other I was going to take with me. Basically, it was just going to be gels from for endurance and endurance. I was going to try and aim for 2 endurance gels per hour, which is around 90 grams of carbs. And then the rest I was going to do like NAC drinks at 8 stations. At this point, I also prepared my pack, double checking everything and double checking that I had everything in my bag. The shoes that I was going to use were the Hug Protection X3 shoes that I'd used in my last 100 miler, and I really loved them. I'd been training them really a ton and I find them to be the perfect shoe for me. So at this point, after I'd prepared all my pack and everything was ready, the nervousness transformed into decisiveness. I was really excited to start the race. One last breath, closed up the van, got on my bike and headed to the race start.
Guys, just dropped the drop bag. Now we go to the start.
Chamonix at this point was absolutely packed with people. There were arrivals from other races and it was absolutely buzzing with excitement. The weather was grey and was starting to turn a bit cold, to be honest. I had a brief phone call with my parents.
I see it. Now it's crunch time.
And before I knew it, I was behind the starting arch. I sat there and I chatted with people around me, just getting to know their story, and it was really cool to see how much this race meant to them also. And this was a special moment that I'll remember forever. I just kept on looking right and left and I could just see people, so many people all around me.
Hey guys, it's go time. 3 minutes and we start.
We were off and we started running super easy. But something insane happened, and that is that literally the first step that I took after the starting arch, my left calf seized up completely. It was a feeling of pain. I literally couldn't believe this was happening. I couldn't believe my calf literally started hurting the first step I took during a 100-mile race. I just thought it was a muscle spasm, so it would work itself out as I warmed up. The race had officially started. The Chamonix city center, it is packed with people all around. I will never forget this.
This is insane.
We headed out from Chamonix, hitting the first trail, going up and down in the middle of all these people, and here it started to rain a bit. We took a left turn onto a very tight bridge.
Okay, so this bridge was the only spot for a major bottleneck on this section, so good. 25 minutes in, and it is pissing down rain like crazy. It's insane. I'm about to put my jacket on.
Here we took out the poles, climbed up, then hit a flat.
Okay guys, first climb done. We're almost at Les Houches. Feeling good, raining a lot, but yeah, feeling good.
We ran into the aid station of Les Houches, where I filled up with water, then ran through the village with a couple of ups and downs, and then hit the first climb, Col De la Seigne. The climb starts out fairly easy, and then progressively becomes steeper and a bit harder when you hit the actual gravel road on the mountain.
Almost on top of Col De la Seigne. Took off my jacket, don't know if it was a very good idea. Woo! Pretty chilly. Let's go!
I didn't do anything about my target heart rate, focus on the fact that it was going to be a really long race and to not overdo it in the beginning.
Okay, we just went over Col De la Seigne. Now we start the descent towards Gervais. Let's go. It up a bit, no more rain. A bit cold, but it's okay, let's go.
After Col De la Seigne, the descent into Saint-Gervais starts, and this is basically a first part on ski slopes, so pretty steep and also very slippery. Bottom of this becomes quite slippery, was just being careful to just run fairly easy and just make good progress towards Saint-Gervais without risking anything. After you get out of the trail, it's crazy.
Okay guys, I finished Col De la Seigne downhill, feeling really good. Took it super easy on the downhill. Now we are almost in Saint-Gervais. You can hear the sound of the people cheering from like as soon as we get on the road. Yeah, feeling good, feeling strong. Let's go. Just absolutely unbelievable.
After Saint-Gervais, you hit a runnable section up until the Contamines, which is a bit of ups and downs. It starts off with a single track, which then becomes a paved road. Then after the paved road, you drop into another single track, and here it really started to rain like crazy.
Okay, we're almost at the Contamines. After this really cool section in the woods. Yeah, let's go.
I got to the Le Contamines aid stations and it was total chaos. They were doing mandatory gear check at a third warm layer. In that moment, I just changed for the night. It was raining like crazy, so I understood that I had to put on my waterproof gloves.
Bad weather. Just left Le Contamines and now we are in Notre de la Gorge. Let's see, look at this.
First part of the climb from Notre de la Gorge is insane. Going through it is crazy. There's people right, there's people left, everybody's cheering you on. After that, you literally pass a sign which says you're entering the Réserve Naturelle de Le Contamines Montjoie, and here it's the complete opposite. You start going into the mountains. The first part of this climb is in the woods. You would need to turn your headlamp to the lowest setting so as not to disturb animals. and the first serious climb of the race starts. This is the climb to Col de la Seigne. I started climbing with my poles, rain was coming down, and the further up I went, the more it was becoming cold. You hit a rifugio, then a pretty serious part of the climb starts, a bit more technical, then you hit a flat part, a little descent, you start a little flat part, and then you start the final big section of the climb. And here the rain turned into crazy sleet. The ice was just coming down sideways. I was starting to get really cold, so I just said, nah, I need to put on long pants now. So I stopped, took off my vest, put on my pants. But while I was doing this, I made a huge mistake. I tried to switch one of the waterproof gloves that I had to put on a thicker one, and I literally could not put the glove on. My left hand became freezing. I couldn't feel it anymore, to the point that I couldn't do my vest up again, and the sleet turned into actual snow. This was the moment in which the race went from something manageable to being absolutely insane survival mode.
Okay guys, the situation has taken a dramatic turn. It's snowing up here at Col De la Seigne. Super cold, crushing my hands. Long pants on. Yeah, just need to climb down, guys. This is snow.
The last part of the climb to Col de la Seigne is fairly steep. We reached Col de la Seigne, and here I started to see some people who were chilling behind a house, maybe waiting for the wind to die down or something, I don't know. But I just took the left turn and headed up Col de la Seigne. The course in this point is quite technical. It's a fairly steep climb, there's quite a bit of rocks, and there was a bit of snow covering at this point. My vest was still open. I was really struggling with this left hand. I felt it was like really freezing. I just couldn't wait for this climb to end, but I knew how long it was. There's a part towards the end which is pretty technical, so I was just being very careful to not do anything stupid or that could endanger the rest of the race, and just took my time going up. Slowly but surely we got up to Col de la Seigne. Here it was still snowing like crazy. Like, I had this much ice on the brim of my hat. I couldn't feel my hands. There was a checkpoint after Col de la Seigne where there were people from UTMB asking, are you okay? And the guy in front of me literally said, no, I'm not okay. And at that moment I thought, damn, I'm not okay either. I'm not feeling good. It's not a good situation. And when the guy said, I'm not okay, the volunteer said, okay, you can go into that little building. There was a little building there, and you can warm up a minute and then resume. And I was like, okay, I can't do that. I need to just head down to the next aid station. And as soon as I get under 2,400 meters, it'll be warm again and I'll be fine. So when they asked me, are you okay? I said, yes, I'm okay. Went forward and I started the descent. My vest was undone, so I stopped and I tried to do it again, but I literally could not feel my hands. So I wasted 5 minutes there getting cold and trying to close this vest, but just, I couldn't do it. I literally could not feel my hands. So I thought the only thing I can do is just head down, let's go. So I started trying to make my way down, but this descent, the first part was, let's say, okay, but the second part is all like insanely muddy. Everybody was slipping everywhere. Even the grass was super slippery. This situation was a nightmare. So all I could do was just focus on not falling down and just making my way to the next aid station. I got to this aid station and it was just chaos. Everybody was muddy, so I just got some tea and tried to warm up. At the same time, understanding that I had to put on some warm pants. I couldn't just go on with the rain pants, I needed warm pants underneath, so I had to take off my shoes, full of mud, take off the long pants, put on the other warm long pants, and re-put the rain pants on. So something that should have taken me like 2-3 minutes, that's what the amount of time I would have spent normally at this aid station, it took me, I don't know, at least 15 to 20 minutes. My calf was worrying me, and at that point I didn't feel it was getting much worse, but it wasn't getting better. In the back of my mind I was still trying to understand how I was going to deal with this for the whole rest of the race. But at this point I was just thinking, let's get through the night and let's get to Courmayeur. I headed out of the aid station. There was a mandatory gear check. I'd done that, headed out, and there was a first runnable section before Col De la Seigne. I knew this part very well, having it done in training. I needed to run this part and then just go up Col De la Seigne, which is a very long and steady climb. The first part I ran, no problem. I was alone at this point, just me, my headlamp and music, navigating through mud and slippery stuff. After crossing over a little river on a bridge, the real climbing starts. This is a single track, and it's basically a super long climb, I think 10 kilometers up to Col De la Seigne with a very steady road.
Hey guys, little update. We are climbing Col De la Seigne. Yeah, I didn't film anything before because it was basically turned into a real survival situation. But now Col De la Seigne, we are late, of course, because I had to stop to put on the long pants. It was crazy.
at a certain point, after like 20 minutes I was climbing, I realized that the grade of Col De la Seigne and the type of terrain was absolutely perfect. I was really feeling good. I was climbing very efficiently, making my way up to the top. It wasn't snowing, it wasn't raining. At this point, I turned right and I saw all the headlamps of the people who were making their way up the col. Turned my head left and then I could see a little bit of snow up top, and I was feeling really good. This was a really cool moment in the race. The closer I got to the top of the col, the colder it got, and at a certain point it started snowing again. It was snowing sideways, again turned a bit into a survival situation. But I was more clear-headed, as in I could understand how long it was going to take me to get to Col De la Seigne. I knew I could manage it, and I just thought I need to make it over this col, and hopefully it'll stop snowing. I was surprised to see two people cheering on really close to Col De la Seigne. I gladly took that energy that they gave me, and then one step after the other, I got up to Col De la Seigne. I didn't stop even a second. I just headed down, bombing the descent. It was a bit muddy, it was a bit slippery, but nothing major. So here we started running again. After a section on a really wide gravel road, you hit a river crossing on a bridge, and then I was expecting to go left up to Les Pyramides Calcaires. To my amazement, I couldn't see the turn, and I could see headlamps in front, so I knew that I wasn't off course, but I thought they've taken it out. Pyramide is a very technical spot. In that situation, it could have been fairly dangerous. So I think they made a good call taking it out. This gave me a boost of energy because at this point, I knew the descent that I had to do, and I knew that it was completely runnable, so I just ran. I got to Rifugio Elisabetta, turned right. There's a little part that's a little bit more technical. I ran this section. It's a very wide road. I just tried to make good progress without overdoing it. I got to a little lake, and then I turned right to start the climb to Arrêt du Mont Fabre. This climb is fairly steep. It's not easy. It's not very long. So I pulled out my poles and I started climbing. Here I started to feel quite tired, to be honest. And I started to feel my calf a little bit more. There was something about changing between downhill and flat that really made the calf hurt a little bit more, but still, it wasn't anything major. It was something that I just had to deal with. Arrêt du Mont Fabre was the first moment I felt kind of like low energy. The fact that it had been so cold and snowy really took a lot of energy out of me. But at this point, I knew that Arrêt du Mont Fabre was the last climb before the big descent to Courmayeur. So I just focused on doing this climb as efficiently as possible. I just slowly but surely made my way up the climb, and after some final steps, I took the right turn that heads to the first part of the descent, which has a bit of switchbacks. It's gravel, so it's runnable, but not super easy. A couple of parts with rocks. Then there is another small climb, and then the big descent to Courmayeur starts.
Okay guys, we finally see Courmayeur. That was an insane night, like absolutely insane. I have no words to describe it. It's not brutal, absolutely brutal. Oh, let's hope for some sun now, some morning light. Let's go. Courmayeur, down there. This last descent to Courmayeur is really super steep, super technical.
This big descent to Courmayeur, I was feeling better, a lot better, and my legs were feeling very fresh, actually. And I was really looking forward to getting to Courmayeur, halfway point, changing, getting something to eat, and then starting, hopefully, in the day. Got out of the single track, ran on a paved road into Courmayeur, and then got to see my sister before the aid station, who gave me a little bit of a cheer.
Ciao, sono io! Corri, corri, non pensare a me! Vai, 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 vai! Vai, vai, vai! Forza, forza!
Headed into the aid station of Courmayeur, took my bag and headed into the area where Claudio was waiting for me.
Ale.
This is a crucial part of the race.
Patri, di qua.
Tu non puoi capire.
Vai.
Tu non hai capito.
Dai. Tutto qua.
No, posso. Tu non puoi capire che tempesta c'è stata.
No, lo so.
Took off my shoes, my socks, changed everything. Took off my long pants, changed all the stuff I had on top.
Ok.
Messo anche l'hotel.
Gamba tutto ok, credo che sbuccia.
Ah, qua no, tutto ok, no, il polpaccio è fottuto proprio dal primo chilometro.
Sì?
Sì, ma va bene.
Dai.
Ate a lot of stuff, some salty stuff, some pizza. I was chatting a bit with Claudio. I felt a bit dazed, but I still felt that I had a bunch of energy left. After getting changed, I got up, and when I got up, I literally could not walk anymore. My left calf was in massive amounts of pain. On a scale from 0 to 10, solid 7.5. I was literally limping. I could not put weight on the leg. It was so bad. And I wasn't expecting it. Like, to be honest, feeling how I'd felt when I got into the aid station, it was completely unexpected that it would hurt so much after having stopped for just 10 minutes. The pain I had before was manageable. I could have finished the race. This pain was not manageable. Actually, I didn't even think about it. I just said, okay, it's just that the muscle has gone cold a bit because I wasn't using it. I need to start running again in order for blood flow to come into the leg. I think it'll get better. So I thanked Claudio, headed out of the aid station, and started making my way up to Rifugio Bertone. It's a big climb, but I had a big problem. My calf was hurting really like crazy. It did not get better. It was really hurting a lot. To be completely honest, it was very, very hard for me to run. Climb up to Bertone was still doable. I could feel it hurting a little bit. It was dawn. Clouds had parted. You get up to a beautiful spot with beautiful view. This was a really, really cool moment in the race.
Okay, so we're at the top of the Bertone Refuge climb. That was not an easy one.
I got to Rifugio Bertone. I was talking a bit with the volunteers at the Rifugio. We were talking about the crazy snowstorm that had happened. Got something to eat, something to drink, and I started on the Balconade of Val Ferret. The Balconade is a runnable section with a bit of climbs and a bit of descents. Quite a long section, all on the side of the valley of Val Ferret. Here, I started to be in real trouble. At this point, I realized that I literally could not run on flat. I had to keep my poles out, and from uphill to flat was hurting. The worst thing was downhill to flat was almost out of the question. It was around the 95 kilometer mark. Here the thoughts starting to seep in to my mind that this pain is too much. I can't run with this pain. So I finished the Balconade. It was a lot longer than I remembered, probably because I was in quite a bit of pain and my energy levels maybe were a bit lower because of the cold. I got to the end of the Balconade, took a switch back to the left and headed down to the next aid station.
So that was, as of now, the worst part of the race. I remember it was so long. I did so much climbing. Oh, I'm hurting, man. I'm really hurting.
I got to the aid station, I got something to drink and to eat, and then I headed out to attack the climb to Gran Col Ferret. The first part is a flat and runnable, and then you take a right and it starts to get really steep, and it's a pretty long climb. I took out my poles.
Okay guys, I'm really suffering. Crazy.
Energy-wise, I was really feeling taxed. I felt like I was falling into a black hole, and the further up I went to climb, the worse I was feeling. I was slowing down quite a bit. I got up to the top of Gran Col Ferret, and I started downhill to La Fouly. I started downhill, but I didn't really start. I couldn't run. This was, the pain had become unbearable. Every step was extremely painful, was agony, to be honest. On top of this, the descent to La Fouly, first part is fairly easy, then you have a couple of switchbacks, but then it becomes kind of like a technical and has a bit of descents, then uphills, and it's all on the side of the mountain with roots and rocks. And every time that I took a step on the left leg, it just hurt like crazy. It was starting to become absolutely unbearable. And I didn't know what to do. I knew that the one thing you don't do is DNF at La Fouly because there is no way to go back to Chamonix. So I'm doing this descent with every step, massive amounts of pain. One of the worst pains I've ever felt in my life. So it was a stop running now type of pain. That's the type of pain I was in.
Okay guys, we are at La Fouly and my calf is really super seized up, especially downhill running. It's crazy. Oh.
I got into the aid station of La Fouly, kilometer 114, and I was basically walking at this point. Took some coffee, took something to eat, and I thought I have to sit down. The moment I thought I have to sit down, I thought if I sit down, I'm not getting back up. I didn't really have many options. I was in massive amounts of pain, so I had to sit down a second and think about what I was doing. What was supposed to be 2 minutes turned into 3 minutes, turned into 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then it turned into a quarter of an hour. So I sat there debating, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? In those minutes, I was faced with the fact that I had no choice. I had no choice because the fact was I had too much pain to even get to Champelac. This is the thing that I thought. The next station was going to be Champelac, like 10-15k from there. And the thought of doing all the steps needed to get there, with every step being complete agony, it was absolutely impossible. And there was no decision to make, to be honest. The second I got up from where I was sitting, I literally could not put any weight on my left leg, like zero, nothing. I couldn't stand up, to be honest. That's the amount of pain I was in. Stop now, sit down, don't walk on this type of pain. That was the moment I realized I was not going to be able to finish this race. That split second, I understood that this was going to be my first DNF.
I cannot believe this is happening, guys. I'm doing my first DNF. No, this is impossible.
Trust me, guys, it is not a nice situation to be in. It is not a nice situation to be in after you've invested so much of your life into one event, after it was something that I really wanted to do. It wasn't something that I need to do this. I really wanted to do UTMB. As I said before, it is a very good course for me. It is spectacular. It is an amazing race. So being faced with the fact that my left calf literally could not finish the race and that I had to quit, I had to DNF in that moment in La Fouly at kilometer 114 after 18 hours and 40 minutes, it was a really tough pill to swallow. But it was made easier to accept because I understood profoundly that I had no choice. I had no choice to continue. There was no finishing this race with that pain. I knew that already I should have quit in Courmayeur. That's what I should have done. The body is an amazing machine, but it is something that needs to be respected. What I tried to do was to honor the race and to finish it because people come from all over the world. It's lottery, it's very hard to get into. I do not take DNFs lightly in general, but especially in this race, it was something that I was not willing to do it. I was not going to accept a DNF. And that second, it was over.
Attends, mais t'appuies là. Non, mais il peut s'appuyer sur mon dos quand même.
Aspetta.
Yes.
One.
Ok. Voilà. Alors.
No, it's muscle spasm.
Ah, okay.
And I thought I had fixed, and instead it's not fixed.
C'était les
And it hurt.
I was a bit stunned, to be honest. I'd never been in this situation, but the first priority was getting this calf sorted, like getting the calf sorted, understanding what had gone wrong, and then think about how to get back to Chamonix. The medical staff were amazing. They were super cool. They took me to the medical tent. They started analyzing the leg. I just told them, guys, I think it's this.
On va faire gaffe.
All here. See this? Very swollen.
Ah, ok. Ah, mais c'est carrément. Ok. Tu as pas touché.
I was just there, trying to deal with the pain and understand what I was going to do to get back to Chamonix. And all of a sudden, I turned left, and one of the volunteers was cutting off the barcode from my bib. And in that moment, it was traumatic, absolutely traumatic.
It's over.
To be honest, physically, I didn't feel that bad. I felt okay. I felt like I would have expected to feel after more than 100k and more than 6,000 meters of climbing. And I was pretty angry. Like, to be honest, I was pretty angry. Fortunately, after a while, they told me there's a bus to go back to Chamonix. So I got up from the bed, I took my stuff, I hobbled off to this bus and got on it. After 5 minutes, the bus left from La Fouly. I left the aid station and it was over. The bus ride back was absolutely horrible. Like, I was feeling beat up, I was feeling down. Luckily, Oliviero, who was supposed to meet me in Champelac, he got on the same bus. We talked a bit and he was super bummed also. But I gotta admit that chatting with him was something that made me feel a little bit better. Even just sharing what I'd just gone through. So unexpected. So something that I thought would never happen. I never thought that my first DNF would be this way. I thought it would be something like catastrophic, like a super twisted ankle, or maybe something to do with completely depleting all my energy and like fainting or something like that. I never thought it would be for something that had to do with the muscle. I always thought that I could push through anything muscle related, but hey, what do you know? I can't. This was, to be honest, I think the first time that I actually hit my limit. This was a limit that I could not push through, and I can't be anything but, let's say, proud maybe, or I'm satisfied with what I did because I really did push to the absolute limit and beyond it.
Eccolo. Grazie per il crewing.
Back to Chamonix, sat on the grass, kind of like let it sink in what had actually happened, because the last 2 hours were a bit of a blur. I kept on seeing other buses coming in and everybody who had DNF'd getting off same as me, limping a bit. Sat there, sulked a bit, and then I just went back to the van and just slept. The morning after I woke up, I looked down and my left calf was twice as swollen as the right one, also in the front. So at this point I understood that something serious was going on. So my orthopedic friend told me, you need to get an ultrasound scan as soon as possible. The next day I got an ultrasound scan. The scan confirmed that I had a 6 centimeter grade 2 tear in my soleus muscle. The soleus muscle is a muscle that is very involved in running. So basically what I now understand happened is that the week before, when I did the last run and I felt that pain in my calf, that was probably like maybe a 1 centimeter tear in the soleus, or a small tear, could have even been grade 1. It probably healed a little bit during the week, but then basically as soon as I started, probably for just random reasons, it just opened up again, and that's when I felt pain at the beginning. And the fact that I ran 114 kilometers with 6,000 meters of elevation gain on it made it extremely worse. So probably opened up slowly from 1 centimeter to 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So now I'm dealing with this injury. What I have to do to heal it is basically not do anything. I have to rest. And to be honest, this was a price that I understood that I was willing to pay. What I want to share with you guys is that I learned a big lesson, and that is that no race is worth sacrificing your health. If I could go back, I would quit earlier. I would quit in Courmayeur. Probably if I'd quit in Courmayeur, it would have been noticeably better. The leg was not as swollen, and I think the damage wasn't that bad. And the other thing I realized is that this time I did not reach my goal. I did not reach the finish line. I had to quit. But I'm extremely hungry to go back. That is the number one thing on my list. Is I really want to go back to UTMB, close the loop, and have the race that I think I can do on this course, and live that full experience of finishing the race. And the other thing that I realized is that even though I didn't finish, the overall experience of the week was absolutely amazing. It just A, made me like trail running more, B, got me in contact with so many different people, so many new friends, and it is just an amazing experience to see a city just light up and really celebrate trail running and become this massive trail running festival. All distances, everybody can come, because some races need stones and have a lottery, other races don't need stones and you don't have a lottery. So if you want to do 20k or if you want to do 100 miles, there is something for everybody in this week. So I'm extremely grateful to UTMB for the opportunity to attempt to race UTMB full loop. Honestly, I do feel like I let a lot of people down. In particular myself, I think I let myself down. It would have been really cool to end the year on a super high note by finishing UTMB. But hey, every time I missed my goal, maybe not DNF, but maybe I missed my time goal, that always meant that I had more time to train, more time to gain experience, more time to build on what I've already built, and to become stronger, more efficient, faster, smarter, and then attempt to do it again. I learned so much from doing the race this year, even though I didn't finish it. I learned so much of the logistics, and on top of everything, I just learned how cool this race is. It is absolutely insane, unlike anything else that I've ever seen in my life. Just running out of Chamonix is a one-of-a-kind experience. It's absolutely insane. So guys, that was the story of my first DNF. I hope in sharing it with you guys, it might prepare you for, I think, the inevitable DNF that will come in your life. I always knew that the first DNF was coming. I just did not expect it to be in a race that I'd prepared so much for and that I'd given so much of my energy. But overall, it was an amazing experience, a super positive experience, and a great learning lesson, and a stepping stone to the future races that I'm going to try and attempt. Plans for next year are going to be to start the ultra season much later and do Lavaredo 120k. I had a positive draw, so I've already signed up for Lavaredo 120k, which is 2 months out from UTMB 2026. So do Lavaredo, 2 weeks off, then 2 weeks massive build, concluding with the final 100-mile week, exactly like this year. I think I really nailed the training this year. And then in the case of a positive draw, UTMB at the end of August 2026. So those are the plans. Of course, they're subject to change, but at the moment I'm dead set and I'm already signed up for Lavaredo 120k. Okay guys, that was my experience at UTMB week and doing UTMB 2025. Crazy race. Can't wait to go back. This is all I've got for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep on following the journey, subscribe to the channel. Leave a like if you like this video. Bye guys, happy training and racing, and I'll see you in the next one.